Welcome to the channel where I am new to politics and I look through news clippings to sort of figure out what's going on. I think we should all know what's going on with our nation. Please, in the comment section, feel free to correct me when I'm wrong or just to add more context to any given situation. Let's get right into it.
For fairness, accountability, and everyone, it's Brooke Rollins. This week, we are seeing real action to restore fairness, accountability, and common sense to our food assistance programs. President Trump's vision to restore common sense reforms to SNAP, or food stamps, is moving to its implementation phase. The One Big Beautiful Bill enacted revised work requirements for able-bodied adults between 18 and 64 who receive SNAP, meaning they will be required to work, to volunteer, to train, or even to study at least 80 hours a month to qualify for benefits as a floor. That's 20 hours a week and 4 hours every work day. This is about restoring dignity and responsibility. We're ending a system where some were taking advantage while honest, hardworking Americans foot the bill. As I have pointed out, the data shows clear misuse, deceased individuals still receiving checks, people collecting benefits in multiple states, and so much more. This is unacceptable. And while we're talking about that, to the 21 states who have yet to send us their data, what is it that you are hiding? Let's partner together to defend the taxpayer and make sure that those who are most vulnerable among us are receiving the benefits. There is dignity in work. There is dignity in service to your community. There is dignity in career and technical education. Also, all USDA programs, including SNAP, are continuing to be under significant review to kick off any illegal immigrants receiving federal benefits. That means no more freebies for lawbreakers. Benefits will be preserved for citizens who follow the rules. We believe in helping Americans who play by the rules. We believe that if you are able-bodied, you should work or contribute to receive taxpayer-funded help. But we also believe that there are vulnerable Americans who need this supplemental nutrition assistance benefit for a short term to help them get back on their feet.
So what I don't understand is, one, how did it even get this bad? How did it get so bad that illegals are getting benefits, that people are getting benefits from two different states? I thought there was just one giant system. And then if you in there, you in there. And if they can just look up when was the last time, like what kind of system is this? Dead people are still getting benefits? Like this is where the tax dollars are going? Where my tax dollars are going? I paid a lot in taxes last year. A lot. 21 states still won't give over the info. I wonder what that's all about. Like, why is it? Do these states get money from the government for SNAP?
The fight over federal food support is once again pitting Minnesota against the Trump administration. Attorney General Keith Ellison is joining nearly 24 other states, suing the Trump administration over changes to SNAP, or food stamps. This lawsuit focuses on who is eligible for food assistance. Ashley Graham's read through the lawsuit tonight. So, Ashley, what'd you find?
Well, Frank, Democratic attorneys general are leading this effort against the federal government, accusing the USDA of blocking some legal immigrants from receiving SNAP benefits. Attorney General Keith Ellison says this Thanksgiving he's wrapped up in a lawsuit.
Here we are on the eve of this important American holiday. We're fighting to keep food on the table of people who are in our country lawfully and who are entitled to these benefits.
Filed every lawsuit regarding SNAP.
On Wednesday, Ellison, alongside 21 other Democratic attorneys general, filed a lawsuit against the federal government over guidance issued by the USDA about SNAP benefits. Ellison claims that guidance wrongfully denies food assistance to some legal immigrants, including permanent residents admitted as refugees or given asylum.
The law is clear. Refugees and other vulnerable legal immigrants become eligible for SNAP once they obtain their green cards and meet other program requirements. If Trump doesn't like the law, he's welcome to try to change it through the normal, usual legal means.
A spokesperson for the White House said in a statement President Trump was elected with a resounding mandate to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse across the federal government, which includes ensuring that illegal aliens are not receiving benefits intended for American citizens. Guidance from the USDA was issued late last month, months after the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was approved by Congress. That new law limits eligibility for some non-citizens. But the lawsuit filed today claims USDA guidance, quote, goes beyond the act, arbitrarily excluding from SNAP many lawful permanent residents who remain eligible.
So I'm still not understanding what all that means. So, but if it were me, I would just cut the funding to these 21 states. If they're not trying to share the information, if they can't just expect hundreds of millions of dollars without giving any type of information about how you're spending it or what's going on. Like, this is taxpayers' money.
But the third thing, which became very much a part of the national conversation during the Democrat shutdown, was SNAP reform, food stamp reform. When all of America saw what so many of us know and have been working on, but when you have so much rampant fraud in a program that 42 million Americans participate in, now a big good piece of news that I hope is written about, since you became president, about 800,000 of those 42 million have moved off of food stamps, which is hopefully the plan, with better jobs, higher wages, etc. But still, when we found 186,000 dead people's Social Security numbers being used, 500,000 people receiving benefits more than twice. We had a couple of people receiving benefits in 6 states. In February of this year, we asked for all the states for the first time to turn over their data to the federal government, to let the USDA partner with them to root out this fraud, to make sure that those who really need food stamps are getting them.
For the first time? Why weren't y'all doing that every single year? This is what I mean. Like, it just seems like these are kindergartners who are the politics, who are making up these laws and these programs. I could have done better with my buddies to come up with a better system. People were getting it in 6 different states. 100,000 dead people. Social Security numbers are being used. I mean, it's good that 800,000, that's almost 1 million people. That's almost 1 million people. And I've even heard of some people getting thousands every single month. So that thousands, even if it averages out to the high hundreds, this is going to bring the whole country out of debt.
But also to ensure that the American taxpayer is protected. 21 states said yes, not surprised. 29 states said yes, not surprisingly, the red states. And that's where all of that data, that fraud comes from. But 21 states, including California, New York, and Minnesota, the blue states, continue to say no. So as of next week, we have begun and will begin to stop moving federal funds into those states until they comply and they tell us and allow us to partner with them to root out this fraud and to protect the American taxpayer.
This should have been done a long time ago. I don't understand how you can freely send hundreds of millions of dollars just to all these organizations. How is all of this fraud being done? Like, there are no checks and balances. These are supposed to be our best and brightest, and there are no checks and balances. There's no common sense. There's no recourse. There's no one asked to see a paper trail. It seems like everything is just the honest system. If I'm wrong, just tell me down below, what am I missing?
New rules tonight on requirements for federal food assistance that just took effect today and will impact millions of SNAP recipients. Thanks for watching San Diego Right Now at 7. Good to have you with us, everybody. I'm Stephanie Simmons. Recipients now have to meet new requirements for work in order to keep their benefits. CBS 8's Alex Cheney joins us live from the Feeding San Diego headquarters tonight. And Alex, there are more than 400,000 people who get CalFresh benefits here in San Diego County alone. What do those people need to know?
Well, Stephanie, as part of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed this summer, it's going to require more people to be able to work to receive the same benefits as they did before. Also, previously exempt groups are going to have to go back to work as well, which some here at Feeding San Diego say create new barriers to food assistance. It's another busy day at Feeding San Diego.
Removing certain individuals.
Sam Duke says their demand has gone up by 20% since July, and now with expanded SNAP benefit work requirements, that demand may go up even more.
It'll create barriers for those on SNAP benefits, and that may require them to turn to nonprofits like ourselves to access additional food resources.
The so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed this summer expands the age limit for able-bodied people to receive benefits from 18 to 54 up to now 64. It also requires recipients to work a total of 80 hours a month, do 20 hours of community service a month, or be a part of a work education program. It also removes groups that were previously exempt from work requirements.
Homeless, veterans, as well as youth aging out of foster care. So again, new barriers that these community members may have to face.
These are all very common sense reforms.
State Assemblyman Carl DeMaio says the expanded work requirements are common sense changes and is a better way for those receiving benefits to improve their lives and eventually get off welfare.
It's all about challenging people who are getting public assistance to improve their lot so they don't have to be on the dole, on the taxpayer expense.
Carl says those receiving federal benefits should have to help the taxpayers they're benefiting from.
All they have to do is get a job, go and volunteer in the community, or go to school. Are you telling me that people should not be required to at least give something back in exchange for public taxpayer-funded welfare?
Feeding San Diego is now concerned thousands of people could be dropped from SNAP benefits.
And I believe there will be people that will be dropped just because they may not be able to meet that new requirement due to other existing conditions they're already facing.
Well, yeah, that's the plan. That's what Trump is aiming for, to drop all these people. I have a question though. So if it goes from 18 to 64, what about the people above that? Well, I guess that's when SSI kicks in. I guess that's when that kicks in. That's retirement. But listen, if they have to do, if now you have to do all of these mandatory, first of all, I think that this is a good thing. I think that this is a good thing. They're making you get up and do something. You have to work a little bit, no more just sitting at home. And then doing the 20 hours, the guy at the, I guess that was like a food shelter or something. You shouldn't have to worry. I'm pretty sure they'll come to you when they need those 20 hours of community service.
He is the dirty jobs guy. His name actually is Mike Rowe and is a frequent guest on this program. He's got a great voice too. Mike, AI is getting a lot of blame for people losing their white-collar jobs. Is AI affecting blue-collar jobs?
I think it's affecting everything. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but I thought of you a week or two ago. I was in Plano, Texas, and I got a tour of a data center. And we hear so much about these things, but I'd never really walked through one before. And while I was in there, I ran into a couple of electricians, all of whom had been poached 3 times in the last year, all of whom were making north of $240,000 a year. Whoa. That's the nature of the demand for electricians right now. These guys were all under 30, by the way. So, yes, AI is impacting them in one way. It's impacting coders in another way. The piece you just did, Edward, talking about energy is obviously spot on. Right next to those rare earths are these polymetallic nodules and underwater mining and the hundreds of thousands of jobs that are going to be created in that industry alone no one's talking about. This is a wildly complicated, fluid situation, and AI is going to touch all of it.
AI replaces white-collar jobs, but AI enhances blue-collar jobs. It makes a blue-collar job more efficient. Would you agree with that?
I'd say it's very ironic because for 17 years in my foundation, all I heard was the robots are coming to take the welders, right? Well, no, actually. Everything is evolving a bit, but right now, from where I'm sitting, the most security I can find in the workforce is in the classic trade jobs. Alex Karp talks about this all the time, and the headlines have caught up to his message as well over at Palantir. It's just an extraordinary confluence of things that I think is redefining the job market and the definition of a practical education.
Let me talk more about Palantir. They say, look, college is just not a reliable training ground anymore. They've gone out and hired 22 high school students. They're saying, hey, skip the debt, skip the indoctrination, come straight to us out of high school. You've got to like that, Mike.
Well, the reason I like it is it wasn't 22 random high school grads. You know, Alex Karp puts these guys and women through the ringer. They have to score very, very high. They have to demonstrate real work ethic. He selects them, and then he puts them through this meritocracy. You know, it's a training program on steroids. So they're still getting taught things like, you know, history and some social sciences, but they've got a front row seat to learning the actual skills that they're going to need for the job at hand. That, I believe, in some measure, will be the future of education. And in various ways, too, Stuart, you're going to see it in lots of different companies. Jim Farley over at Ford is talking about building his own trade schools now, just like Henry Ford did 100 years ago within that company. So big corporations, I believe, are going to do what's in their best interest to educate the workforce they need by whatever metric makes sense on the given day.
Listen, so all these people complaining that like there are no jobs, these jobs are here, is what I just heard. That these jobs are here, especially now that after all of these migrants are being deported, there's gonna be a plethora of jobs. You can go anywhere and get a job. Also, it brings up another topic, a trade. People are starting to get out of these, going into hundreds of thousands of debts for these degrees that they just downgraded. They're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get a trade. I can learn skills, have a steady paycheck. The more you do it, like welders and electricians, if I could do it all over again, I would probably just pick up a trade. I mean, I'm doing very well for myself right now, but it took a minute. But guys, that's it for today's video. I mean, be on the lookout. Subscribe if you want to. I'm just learning about politics and just trying to understand what's going on in the country. That's it, and I'll see you on another one.